Gospel reading for May the 8th, 2022 comes from John chapter 10, verse 22 through 30. And Jesus has healed the blind man next to the pool. And now, after healing sight, he begins to talk about hearing. What people hear and who are they listening to? For they shall see and not perceive. They shall hear and not understand. After this, we will have the raising of Lazarus. So this is where the scripture comes in. It's chosen because every Easter we affirm that Jesus is the Good Shepherd. And this is the Good Shepherd text for this Sunday in the season of Easter. And so it's the time of the festival of dedication, Hanukkah. December can range from early December all the way down to when we traditionally celebrate Christmas. It really just depends because of the lunar calendar. But it's in the middle of winter. And he is there and he's at the temple. Now remember, the temple was dedicated, and if you don't know the story of Hanukkah, there's a lot of good websites you can look it up at. It's based off of the book of Maccabees and the Apocrypha text between what we call the Old Testament and the New Testament. Basically, quick summation, the temple was desecrated by an occupying force. They actually slaughtered pigs in there. The Maccabees revolted and threw out the occupiers and went to rededicate the temple and rededicate themselves and the people to God. But to do this, they needed oil that was consecrated, and it took 7 days to consecrate. But while they were waiting for the consecration, they needed oil in the temple to burn during that time period. They only had enough for 1 day, but it lasted 8. So it lasted the entire week. And then on the 8th day, it gave out, but the new oil was there. So the oil that was only supposed to last 1 lasted 8. It's the Festival of Lights, the Feast of Dedication, the rededication of the temple. And so they're asking Jesus, are you the one? Are you the Messiah? And notice, by associating it with the Feast of Dedication, are you the new Maccabee? Are you the one to overthrow our oppressors? Are you the one to rededicate the people to God? They are looking for the Messiah, the King. And he says, how long are you going to keep us in suspense? And I've told you, and you don't believe. The works I do in my Father's name, testify to me. But you don't believe. The problem is not that they didn't believe that he might be the Messiah. The problem is that how he understood the Messiah through the terms of Isaiah and the suffering servant was different than how they understood the Messiah as the conqueror of all of Israel's enemies. So they were thinking in terms of Maccabee. And Jesus is thinking in terms of the one who will deliver our souls from bondage. So his understanding and our understanding of the Messiah in Jesus is all around the context of the captivity of Egypt, not the occupation of Israel. Pharaoh is not Rome. Pharaoh is Satan. The bonds of our slavery are sin. Who will deliver us from this Pharaoh? Who will deliver us from this slavery? Who will deliver us from Satan? Who will deliver us from our sin? Jesus, the Messiah, will. This also connects to Jeremiah, who says that God will gather together the scattered flocks, and God will be the shepherd. And so Jesus says this, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me." Now notice, by declaring himself as the good shepherd, in relationship to Jeremiah, he is proclaiming his not only messiahship, but also that he and the Father are one, which he will say at the end of this reading. That Jesus is God incarnate. Emmanuel, God with us. The physical representation of the eternal creator of us all. And our God reclaims his creation through Jesus. Jesus is the good shepherd promised. And the sheep hear his voice. And he knows them and they know him. So the question to be asked, when was the last time you listened for the voice of Jesus? When you're making a decision, when you wake up in the morning, do you wake up in the morning and say, "Jesus, shepherd, where shall I graze today? What would you have me to do today? Where are you leading me today?" Or do we wake up going, "Okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do," and we think about our agenda and we don't listen to the shepherd's voice? Remember that sheep are completely dependent upon the shepherd every day. Are we dependent upon the shepherd? Do we know the shepherd's voice? How do we get to understand the shepherd's voice? How do we begin to hear the shepherd's voice? Through a life of prayer, a life of contemplation, a life spent away from the noise of the world to listen to the call of the shepherd. For the more we hear the voice, the more we give our lives over, the more we know our shepherd, and the more our shepherd knows us. For what has been given shall not be taken away. That's the ending of the lectionary study on this. I just want to mention that I have been appointed to another church in Texas. I will be moving there after June 19th. So if you subscribe to this channel, I will no longer be doing sermons and lectionaries on this channel after June 19th. I will be starting a new channel, independent of a church, for those who wish to continue to join in this study.